the remnants of the glaciers of the last ice age. Or was it the last ice age? Hooray for climate change, I would say. Another inconvenient truth is that there are now more polar bears enjoying eating seals in the Arctic than there were when I was filming them some 30 years ago. And that's all thanks to good wildlife management. We got the Inuits not to kill the things. They could only kill one every year and sell their licence for $60,000 to rich. Yeah. I don't believe what I'm saying, but there it is. And this wildlife management was so good that the global warmers did their best to lock out the lead manager from an important meeting that was discussing that exact matter. We don't want, we're too frightened to hear the truth. A matter that Goa used to put the frighteners on children across the world with. And anyone who actually saw that scurrilous advert put out by New Labour the other day, it was absolute trash. Next slide, please. Sea levels have been behaving themselves, slowly rising ever since the end of the Little Ice Age. However, much of the chagrin of the warmers, they have remained stationary since 2006 against all their predictions. Since 1990, the IPCC computers will work assiduously trying to model where the Earth's temperature is supposed to be going. They knew they were on a sticky wicket because in Chapter 5 of the IPCC's 2007 report on oceanic climate change, there is this statement. Over the past 50 years, it is not possible to satisfactorily quantify the known processes causing sea level rise. And we can only guess what happened to all the banner headlines proclaiming the good news that perhaps our children are not going to fry or drown. And who is swallowing this trash? If the IPCC did try a dose of electronic Viagra on their models, it didn't work. So they took the easy way out by silently dropping any reference to the gory hockey stick model in their official reviews. But algorithms from consenting programmers still belaboured the media with stories of ever greater bent hockey sticks, which soon had him in the line-ups for an Oscar and a Nobel Prize. And the latter, of course, was shared by many of his global warming acolytes. One of the best bits of smart marketing I've ever thought of. Whatever the IP says from that point onwards could, in the minds of the media, bear the stamp of a Nobel Prize. God help the ghost of Nobel. Following this change of heart, hard data on tree rings published in the much acclaimed peer-reviewed and scientific journals were squeezed out from the warmer's tottering Tower of Babel after a long and protracted fight over data access. The scientist, who used only 12 carefully selected tree ring sequences to prepare his story, admitting 34 that didn't suit his purpose. This is surely one of the worst and most scandalous examples of cherry picking on record in science. A blatant attempt to keeping the world scared of carbon dioxide, their reputations safe behind faster computers, or I nearly forgot big shredders, and their research budgets well on the global warming gravy train. The research gravy train backed up by jet-set travel, the conferences in choice locations around the globe, each well laced with cordon bleu cuisine for the top tables, and adulation from a regular caravanserai of hangers-on swelling a spurious and unscientific consensus. So, back to botany. I spent over 50 years of my life talking to and about plants while doing my bit to recycle carbon dioxide. Is CO2 a pollutant? No, it's odourless, colourless and non-toxic. We drink it in fizzy drinks and lager, and it puts a rise in our daily bread. And it is necessary for life. Yes, photosynthesis converts CO2 into oxygen and carbon, the main building blocks of you and I and the rest of biodiversity, although I hate that term. As long as the plants have sufficient water and nutrients, their growth is enhanced by rising concentrations of carbon dioxide. Yes, CO2 is the main free airborne fertiliser of the world. Many experiments prove this fact of carbon-rich life, corroborated by millions of farmers across the world who cash in on the use of enhanced CO2 in their polytunnels and greenhouses. Many also burn fossil fuel to boost plant production. Really greenhouses made of recycled plastic. Carbon dioxide plays its vital part in providing the 18 billion meals that do their best to feed the growing number of the people across the world. We have a population crunch. That is the main thing. For 20 years I worked with and was president of Population Concern until the government said you can't talk about population because it's far, far too well, we mustn't talk about it. The next slide, please. Little wonder then that once starving people on parts of the Saharan desert have returned to farm their land producing bumper crops, thanks to the shade of trees that now grow on some 300,000 square kilometres of their tribal land. I've walked through it, it's there, you can see it. Thanks to, in great part, to rising levels of carbon dioxide. And any botanist will tell you, as the CO2 goes up because it's rate limiting for the whole process, they can keep all their stomata, their mouth closed, and therefore these trees are growing again. The last thing Africa needs is to reduce its non-existent carbon footprint. Likewise, the last thing the economy of the world needs is to spend trillions of taxpayers' hard-earned money trying to solve the credit crunch by raising more taxes to win a non-existent carbon dioxide war. What a fantastic great wheeze to blame the men and women, yes, even those on the Clapham omnibus who can't afford a car to pay the bill to stop it. To date, the cost of the global warming scam is rising fast and soon will pass the $100 billion mark, money that could have been spent solving real problems. Good advice in the words of Tom Lehrer. Don't be scared, be prepared for anything climate change throws our way. Of course that would cost a lot of money, but it would also save lots and lots of lives, especially those who are now forced to stand by and see biodiesel, palm oil and soya swallowing up their biodiverse, sustainably farmed rangelands. Would you buy a second-hand private jet from the world's first carbon-neutral billionaire? If he was carbon-neutral, he'd fall down in the little heap of dust. Yeah.